Alabama for the SWAC Men's Championship. The top two teams all season long will decide who's going to the NCAA tournament in the next 2 hours. Here's how they got here. First round on campus sites. Prairie View takes care of Alcorn and then Grambling to get to the final against the only team to beat them in the regular season in conference play, Texas Southern, who dispatched Southern and Alabama State. With Malcolm Huckabee, Dave Lamont, and you think about the player of the year in the SWAC, we're going to see him today. This guy, Jeremy Combs.
Jeremy Combs has been a matchup nightmare in the SWAC. Last night coming off a monster game where he had 28 points and 18 boards for the season, Dave. He's almost averaging a double-double, 17 points and 9 boards. This is going to be a key matchup in tonight's game.
He was a newcomer of the year. He is a grad transfer from LSU, as is Jalen Patterson, where their head coach here at Texas Southern used to be, Johnny Jones. And we'll talk more about that as the day develops. Our officials, John Heatley, Matt Porter, and Barat Ram. And with the ball, Texas Southern. Armstrong, Patterson, Ewing, Combs, and Butler. Armstrong, believe it or not, number 20 for Texas Southern, is a walk-on and in the starting 5.
And we're going to get into that. He might be one of the best walk-ons in all of college. Really like his floor game.
And he steps back and drains the three-pointer to get things underway.
Well, I'm just going to call it. He's top 5 walk-ons. He did a lot of that last night. I really love the pace that he plays at, and then his ability to hit step-back jumpers as he did on that first possession.
And Prairie View's first possession ends in a turnover. Blackston, Patterson, Jones, Ellis, and Andrews, the starters there. And Texas Southern has an ace in the hole off their bench. The 7'2" senior from Mobile, Trayvon Reed, is healthy. And good patience shown that time by Eden Ewing to give Texas Southern a quick 5-0 advantage.
Well, defensive rebounding for Prairie View, that's going to be a key in this game. Texas Southern, they have a size advantage. They scored a lot of points in the paint last night. Defensive rebounding, again, for Prairie View is going to be key tonight.
That was Blackston, and it's knocked away. It'll be off of the Tigers, so 14 to shoot. Gary Blackston could be one of the fastest players I've seen all year while dribbling. He can really move. Number 3 in white there for Prairie View A&M.
It's so difficult to keep out of the lane, in particular in transition. As you said, he flies up the court. Just a handful to keep out of the paint.
They're running out of time to shoot, and they don't seem to know it. Dennis Jones is going to have to just let one loose, and of course it goes in. He actually had time to look at the bench to where Byron Smith, his head coach, was, who signaled you might want to go ahead and shoot.
Sometimes that happens in games where you have a good defensive possession. Texas Southern did, but it's better offense.
Boy, there's some serious handles for the junior Tyreek Armstrong.
It's hard to believe that he is a walk-on. I'm going to say he has earned himself a scholarship. He is so key to what they do.
A little flipper, no good. Tapped around and still available. Great save by Devontae Patterson. And that's going to be a foul, as Blackston realized he was going to get hit by Jalen Patterson, and he did.
Texas Southern foul charge number 3, Jalen Patterson, his first personal and first.
Here's Johnny Jones. 18 seasons as a D1 head coach. His first year at Texas Southern has been very successful. Who was very successful as he went on to Detroit.
The coaching resumes for both of these coaches are just so impressive. Johnny Jones has been around this game for a really long time. A very good player, played for Dale Brown, Final Four as a player, and then obviously at LSU. One of the best in the business, and already has Texas Southern. They haven't missed a beat with him at the top.
The third free throw coming up for Blackston. He made the first. Johnny Jones went to the tournament with North Texas, and he went to the tournament with LSU. Now 1 out of 3 for Blackston, who is a 2 out of 3 shooter on average. Watch out. Tyreek Armstrong is clearly feeling it.
And that's great ball movement that time in the secondary break. Ball went left, right to left, and then beautiful dribble drive. And He just continues to shoot at a high clip.
He's got 8 already out of the 10 for Texas Southern. Tough drive into a lot of tree traffic and an offensive foul.
We talked to Coach Jones before this game. He said, look, we have to defend the paint against Prairie View, a team that gets a lot of free throws with their attack mode, and that's great team defense right there, stepping in, taking the charge.
Looked like Butler was the one who took the brunt of that collision. Here is Armstrong. Will he just go ahead and heat check himself here? He's got it back. Dead underneath. Almost, but you see that signal when that shot blocker tries to come down is when they get busted.
Prairie foul charge number 13.
So that foul will be on Iwan Ellis. As you take a look at it, Byron Smith, 4th year as the Prairie View A&M head coach. He is the SWAC Coach of the Year. They clinched the regular season title in Montgomery, Alabama, and Alabama State earlier this month.
Both these coaches, their resumes, what they've been able to do with these programs in a very short time, just impressive. So take a look at Coach Smith. Talking with him before the game, an outstanding player as well in his own right. He played at Houston and played professionally in Europe as well, doing an outstanding job at Prairie View.
Who thinks he can still play, is what he told you.
He said, I asked, we were sharing some stories about playing overseas. He said, look, I can still play. I still get out here and give it to these guys. Just can't do it for 40 minutes, but I can do it for a 5 to 10 minute clip.
Right now, he would prefer his team do it for a 5 to 10 minute clip. As Darius Williams is checked in, he threw it away, and Armstrong was grabbed by Patterson. That'll be a foul on Prairie View. Williams, very good shooter coming off the bench. And Byron Smith is going to substitute Antoine Lister as well, trying to find some people that play a little bit better.
Well, right now, Texas Southern doing a nice job playing the passing lanes and then creating confusion for Prairie View. They're not giving them anything going to the basket, and then when they do get in there, they have great team defense, all 5 guys in the paint, great in the wall.
Iwan Ellis has come in. Andrews is checked out for Prairie View A&M. Off the screen and make it. No, it didn't go in. I thought that was going to be 10 points. Now it's 10 points for Tyreek Armstrong. Winner today will be going to the NCAA tournament. Off balance, didn't get the call. Armstrong leading Texas Southern into what might be a timeout if this splashes, but it doesn't. And they get it back.
Well, those little hustle points, they add up. Right now, Southern quicker to the ball.
Combs and Ewing, it looked like he was held a little bit there by Dennis Jones.
Prairie View foul charge number 11, Dennis Jones.
Your guy, Malcolm, Tyreek Armstrong, is off to a hot start. Miss it once, I got you. 10 points out of 13 already for a walk-on.
Challenged.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal Investments Retirement Insurance.
So in the early going, Texas Southern, who the only team to beat Prairie View A&M during the regular season in the SWAC, is off to a very quick start thanks to 10 points from Tyreek Armstrong. He is Malcolm. I'm Dave. Again, thank you very much for joining us. So if you are in that Prairie View huddle, what's the message?
Well, I think they have to settle down. There are too many turnovers early on, and I think the biggest thing for them, defensive rebounding. Second chance points will kill you. Right now, Texas Southern is winning that battle where they're getting all the second chance points and also offensive rebounds.
Head coach Byron Smith. See what if he changes his defenses at all. His defense really hasn't been the issue, except for Tyreek Armstrong. It's a 6-0 run that he is against, and right now Prairie View hasn't scored a basket in the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And Texas Southern will inbound with 21 to shoot. There's Armstrong. Not a very tall player. If you look short on TV, he looks shorter in person. He has 12 points. An unbelievable start for Armstrong.
And that's a tough one. That's not bad defense. That's just a tough floater in the lane going away from the basket. Right now, he is just on fire. They've been unable to stop him.
And Johnny Jones is just going with a hot hand right now, understandably. Tough drive for Patterson, and he gets a friendly rim. Patterson had 24 points and 8 rebounds and was 12 of 12 from the line yesterday in the semifinal.
I'd look to see if Prairie View goes to that 3-2 matchup zone, which they did last night.
Oh my, there now Texas Southern can't miss. Jalen Patterson with a 3-pointer. 6 of their last 8 for Texas Southern.
Unselfish basketball. That's a beautiful setup by Tyreek Armstrong. Again, dribble, drive, drawing a lot of attention. Kick it out to a wide open shooter.
Laxton misses. Long shot, long rebound, and Prairie View captures it. Tayshaun Johnson in there, number 1, and handling the ball. This is Laxton again. Now Johnson, he fumbled it, takes it back. Patterson got hacked.
Texas Southern foul charge at number 20, Tyreek Armstrong.
And that will be Armstrong with his first foul. Maybe if they can't stop him, they can get him in foul trouble and get him on the bench.
And Coach Jones, that's certainly a concern if you're Texas Southern. Prairie View's free throw shooting in the semifinal game last night. They took 46 free throws in that game, where they were 37 of 46.
Isn't that something else?
That's a lot of free throws, and they did a nice job attacking the rim. If you're Texas Southern, what you want to do, play good defense like you've been doing early on, but you can't put them on the foul line and bail them out.
Some of that free throw buildup was late game situations where you expect fouls, but even before then, they had a healthy number of trips to the line. Long pass, intercepted, good anticipation that time by the Panthers defense. Hit ahead pass, Lister had it, lost control of it. And Texas Southern just out-hustled Prairie View that time by Ewing, and then a foul. And a bit of a frustration foul, perhaps, by Johnson.
And, Dave, that's the story of this game right now. Hustle plays right here. Transition defense, get back, and then another hustle play. Keep possession for yourself. And right now, Texas Southern doing a nice job. All the little hustle points, the 50-50 balls, they're just quicker right now than Prairie View.
Byron Smith reminds me of a guy who's playing blackjack and he's not getting cards, so you keep changing him out. You bet, you go small. Let me try going big. Let me try going small. He's trying everything he can find, the combination on the court, to get this thing taken care of because he's in trouble early. And we're going to have an offensive foul away from the play as big Trayvon Reed checks in. And he's going to be hit with a foul before he can even break a sweat. So we'll see what kind of a gambler Byron Smith is, but I've had that feeling at a blackjack table where you try everything you can think of with your chips, hoping to get something to click.
Right now, I think the biggest thing is hustle and energy. They got to be quicker to the ball right now. That's been the story. Texas Southern getting all the loose balls.
Oh, Patterson went over the entire building to try to get that putback. And he's pleading a case. Let's see if he has a case.
All right here. Nice contest. And then, they're going to call that every time. He made contact. The guy's going straight up to get the ball. He's not happy about it, but clearly he made contact, and the refs are going to call that every time. Prairie View goes to a little extended full court pressure.
And an interception by the Panthers defensively. Down 11 early. Offensively stagnant. Combs with the quick hands. And the hit-ahead pass. Reed missed it. Reed. Higher percentage field goal attempt for Reed.
And what a pass that time by Combs on the outlet rebound, and a football pass that was on point. You can't do it any better.
3 ball. That's a big shot for Gerard Andrews. The other thing I like about that pass, Malcolm, is it was quick. Combs did not hesitate. And that's going to be a foul against Prairie View as Devakio Butler just got a hell onto the ball and got hit.
Well, this has been the story of the game right here. Tyreek Armstrong starting off with a step-back 3. Little shake, bait, cross him, get in the lane. Tough floater right there. Good D, better offense, and then on fire from beyond the arc. The thing I like about him, though, Dave, is when he's had his shots, yes, he scored, but he's also played a nice floor game thus far. Same thing he did last night, where he plays at a great pace, but he's also a good playmaker where he'll set his teammates up for some open looks. Hard to believe that he is a walk-on.
Yeah. 5'10", 170. At the line, we take a look at Butler, a senior from Atlanta, has played at one time for Colorado State. Hits the front end of that 1-1. He has started every game this season for Johnny Jones. 6'5", 210 pounds. And the lead is a dozen. Patterson is wide open. And that call will go in favor of Prairie View A&M.
Well, you can't ask for a better look right there. Dribble drive, kick it back out. Patterson, nobody near him.
Patterson's going to try the drive against the big guys. Tries every move he's got, and Reed just, it's a hard target, man. That's a legit 7-2, by the way. Sometimes, as you well know, basketball heights get fudged one way or the other. That's 7-2. I walked right by him earlier today.
Absolutely. I was 6'4" in college, and I know I had no chance of being 6'4". I'm more 6'2", 6'3". He is all of 7'2" length. That's a great job on post defense right there. As you said earlier, a lot of times guys bring their hands down and they call a foul. He was straight up the whole time.
Armstrong. And he got a little too fancy that time for his own good, and it's going to go to Prairie View A&M on the turnover with 12:18 to go in the half. More substitutions for the Panthers. Patterson is back in, and Chancellor Ellis will return to the game as well. Iwan Ellis checks out.
Yeah, one of the few mistakes Armstrong's made in this game. Almost really a good break that time. Combs almost came up with that ball for what would have been a uncontested layup. Now Texas Southern changing up their defense. Little soft three-quarter court pressure back to a 2-3 zone.
Boy, they got Reed faked out way out of the play, and a three-point opportunity coming in on the drive by Darius Williams, the Paris junior college transfer.
Well, this is great patience by Prairie View right here. Texas Southern went to the 2-3 zone. Little head fake, don't settle for a jumper. That's great body control. Eyes on the rim the whole time. He made a difficult shot look easy. Great body control.
John Jones hit with his first foul. So a three-point play. Cuts it to 9 as we approach under 12. And here's something different.
They continue to try to change up the defense. I like it. Early on, nothing has worked. Let's see if you can give Texas Southern a different look on defense.
Offensive foul. So Prairie View A&M getting a little tighter on the defensive end, but they're lacking in points. When we return, Commissioner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, Dr. Charles McClellan, will be our courtside guest.
Drive at the Masters.
Off and leading by 9 here. Championship week continues in the Southwest Athletic Conference, and joining us is Dr. Charles McClellan, the commissioner of the SWAC, and a SWAC lifer in his own right. He's got a family tree of the SWAC that goes on for days, it seems like. But something else that we need to talk to you about is your role on the NCAA selection committee. Your day is going to be pretty hectic here today. You're going to crown another champion as you did earlier today, but when are you going to have a chance to sit down and really start breaking that down, the committee?
Yes, get to crown the champion today. I have opportunity to go to the regional with the SWAC representative, and then I will leave and go to the NCAA side where I'll get opportunity to shadow the committee so I can get myself acclimated to what's going on.
Wow. So if you can give the audience a sense of the different initiatives that you have going on in the SWAC conference.
Well, you know, we're moving forward in a positive direction, and being on the men's basketball committee is very huge for us. now had a place at the table where we can influence Division I basketball. And when Dan Gavitt called me, I actually thought he was calling me to say we had something wrong with the SWAC tournaments and say, hey, Charles, you're 1 of 10. Very rewarding for us.
Chancellor Ellis with a three-pointer there as Prairie View is closed to within 6. So this committee is obviously going to be in the spotlight tomorrow. What is that committee room like?
Well, you know, I haven't gone through the mock interview, but they sent me a notebook of about 250 pages that I have to read and get acclimated when we go. But, hey, they're almost sequestered like a jury, and they have to go in and they have to look at all of the analytics. They have to look at all of the numbers and then have some, you know, real firm positive conversations about what it takes in order to make the tournament through 68.
Where do you envision the champion coming out of here today will wind up? Possibly in a play-in game, or do you think you'll skip that?
Well, again, this is just Charles McClellan's opinion, not Division I committee member. But I do think Texas Southern, with their out-of-conference wins against then number 18 Oregon, a Baylor that's resurging here late in the season, and a Texas A&M team, I think they'll have a better opportunity to get a 15th seed or 16th seed. But if the Panthers win, I think that they probably will be in the first 4. Just my opinion.
Meantime, they are en route on a nice little run. They're tapped up, and this time Patterson got the tap in without fouling anybody. And it's 24-20 as Prairie View has cut this down to 4 with some aggressive defense. 3-ball here, and that one missing, and that's going to be tapped out of bounds off of Prairie View A&M. So let's take a look here at who's already in. Colgate the latest.
And Dave, every year we have this discussion, and the committee has this discussion about teams that are in some of these mid-majors that are deserving, but they don't win their conference tournament championship. And you guys obviously have a lot of decisions to make. I think this year is going to be the same as all the other years, where there's going to be some teams that are going to feel slighted when it's all said and done.
Well, that's part of the job that I'm not necessarily looking forward to, taking that criticism there once the bracket comes out.
Oh, Prairie View breaking out here. This is a 3-on-1. Beautiful pass. And Prairie View has cut it to 2. And then all the way the other end, Reed can't hang on. It's a 6-0 run. Reed had cherry picked, and it stayed on the other end. No look pass, and we are tied. 8 straight for the Panthers as we approach the 9-minute mark. Jones missed everything, and suddenly Texas Southern having a hard time getting out of their own way for the lead. And the 7-footer Reed there with a big rebound to maybe settle things down.
Well, you can see the difference now. Texas Southern early on in the game, they were getting a lot of good ball movement. That has changed with Prairie View picking up on the defensive end.
Offensive foul drawn by Blackston against John Jones. So in other words, this year you're going to be more sensitive when everybody, when guys like Malcolm and I rip into the committee, when before you'd be like, they're right. Now you're going to go, hey, wait a minute, guys.
Don't give them such a hard time.
Exactly.
Right?
You don't know what you're talking about.
But I think it's important for them to give me the opportunity, as they've done this year, to shadow, kind of get an opportunity to go through the process without really having to feel that pressure.
Right.
Yeah, so it's very important for me to be able to learn before I go. And again, very exciting for the Southwestern Athletic Conference to finally have a seat at the table. And thank you to the NCAA for allowing us to do so.
Well, I've been impressed with the quality of play, but also the coaches that you've had in the SWAC. Their resumes are pretty impressive, not with just these 2 teams right here, but all throughout.
Possession staying with Prairie View A&M.
But, SWAC has always been a guard league, and you'll see in this game that it's going to be about guard play. Whoever wins this game is going to come from guard play. And coaches, the guards here can play at any Power 5 school, but they're more, 5'8", 5'9", 6'1", versus the 6'3", 6'4", and that's the reason why they're in the SWAC.
We're in Birmingham this year. Last year, of course, you were in Houston. How has that move gone from Texas to Alabama?
It's gone very well. Birmingham has reached out. They've been very good for us, and as you can see, very exciting tournament going on.
Tayshawn Johnson, I'm not sure, Malcolm, how he twisted his body into a pretzel and made the basket, but he did.
And And that's a big bucket. Last night he was scoreless. 0 points, 1 turnover. This is great body control. Concentration. He had his eyes on the rim. That's a tough shot right there.
A former Golden Flash from Kent State, red transfer. Also played at South Alabama before settling in at Prairie View. He cannot convert the three-point play, and that ball will belong to Texas Southern. They have gone about 3 minutes now without scoring. They've turned the ball over 5 times in the last 4:26.
If you're Texas Southern, I think you have to get more ball movement. They've been shooting early in the shot clock in this last 4-minute stretch. I think they need to get a couple of reverses and try to get a higher percentage shot.
By the way, the guy handling the ball right here, Jalen Patterson, 3 fouls. Knocked out of bounds. And with that, we want Dr. McClellan to go back and watch the rest of this game. And we congratulate you on the tournament, and best of luck with the committee.
Thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure. Dr. McClellan joining us here. He will be on the court after the game, handing a championship and a bid to the NCAA tournament for one of these two teams. So Selection Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We got bracketology coming up with Reese and Billis and Jay Will, Seth and Dickie V. They'll have all the brackets, special guests, and then 5:15, of course, preceding that, Sports Center. Reese and the guys will reveal the field of 68. You can watch on ESPN and, of course, on the ESPN app. One of these two teams will be in that show. And Prairie View now in the last almost 4 minutes on a 16-2 run, Malcolm. What has changed?
Defensively, they're getting stops, and then they're getting out in transition, and they're making that extra pass. They're getting high percentage looks, but really it started on their defense.
Texas Southern, a little contact there, just enough to draw the whistle on Iwan Ellis on the drive by Butler.
That's what Texas Southern needs to get back to doing. Don't settle for jumpers quick in the shot clock. Either get out in transition, attack the basket, or get a couple of swings. They got away from that, and Prairie View definitely capitalized it. We take the lead.
And an opportunity to tie coming up here for Devakio Butler. As we see Devontae Patterson back into the game.
Butler is the team's best three-point shooter, 42% on the season, 46 for 110. But I like that mentality there in transition.
I want to correct something I said earlier on Jalen Patterson having just 1 foul, not 3, as I mentioned earlier. He is still in the game, and that's why. Meantime, the officials will straighten this problem out. Jump ball is the ruling. Possession arrow should go to Texas Southern. We got it.
And I like that, the refs. Not a long debate, not a big delay. Have a quick discussion and then play on. Make a decision. A good job by the officials.
Off the inbound, and Butler elevates to put Texas Southern back in front.
That's a beautiful set play. Caught Prairie View sleeping, and the pass was on point.
That pass was on point. Johnson passed up the 3, makes the 2, and Prairie View goes back out in front.
We've seen that now twice. Prairie View passing up contested threes, little shot fake. And that's just a heads-up play and excellent patience.
Ewing had to go off the hands of the Prairie View defenders, so it'll belong to Texas Southern with 19 to shoot. It's been a fast-paced first half.
It really has, and remember how this game started. Texas Southern was getting all those 50-50 balls. That has changed now. Prairie View getting their hands in the passing lanes, and then now they're getting all those hustle plays.
But once again, all of a sudden, Devakio Butler has found range. He's getting hot. Nice pass. That's just, oh, missed underneath. Missed again underneath. Oh, Iwan Ellis, you're never going to get a better look or a better pass.
Yeah, that's one that he has to have. That first one, point-blank layup, just lost concentration. That's a break for Texas Southern.
The double team, and it was defeated. There's an alley, but no oop, and no basket. Out of bounds. That did touch Iwan Ellis last.
Well, both teams Had some pretty good opportunities underneath the basket. Not able to come away with any points.
By the way, a quiet half for Combs. Malcolm, player of the year, has just 2 points and 1 rebound. High three ball, no good. That should be out of bounds off of Texas Southern, and it is.
And a big reason why he's having a quiet first half, they're really not looking for him. Last night they were getting him isolated. He was really active on the offensive glass, but I think the biggest thing was they were looking for him to give opportunities. You have the player of the year in the conference. You got to get him some touches early in the offense.
Well, part of that, I think, early, remember Armstrong got hot right away for Texas Southern, so he was taking some shots, and he's going to be hit with a foul there on the aggressive drive by Dennis Jones. So that may have changed the way Texas Southern approached things early on, but now Prairie View's shown up. They're here now, and we'll see if the approach changes for Johnny Jones's Tigers.
I absolutely agree with you. When you're definitely stalling on the offensive side, you want to go to your main guy, play through him, see if you can get to the free throw line.
And that's where we find Dennis Jones, who struggles a bit from the line. Didn't look like it there. Hey, we got a good NBA Saturday primetime game. We have Steph and the Warriors, Russell Westbrook and the Thunder. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 8 Eastern on ABC. And you can always watch both on the ESPN app from anywhere.
Dennis Jones, the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year from Fort Worth, Texas. Knocks down 2 free throws.
Yeah, solid 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals night. That's a double dribble. And a turnover by Texas Southern.
Again, Prairie View, I really like what they're doing. They've changed the defense. It seems like almost every possession they give them some three-quarter court pressure. They go full. They're going half. So they're just changing up, giving Texas Southern different looks every time down on offense.
Patterson didn't have the shot. He gets it back. He had the shot that time. Devontae Patterson. And if you're a Prairie View fan, you go, that's not Devontae Patterson, or who's number 5? Patterson, Hulk Hogan, his 23 jersey. He tore it in a fit of anger, and they couldn't repair it in time, so he's been wearing number 5. Meantime, a 3-point opportunity coming up for Jeremy Combs.
This is where he is a handful. On the offensive glass right here, Combs. Big-time rebound and one situation right there. That's just great work. We talked about it. Wasn't getting touches. I'm going to go get some offense on my own. He's coming off a game, again, where he had 28 points and 18 boards last night. Big-time performance.
And the officials going to the monitor here. And I believe the foul should have been credited to Devontae Patterson and not Dennis Jones. You saw on the replay 5 grabbed him. So, and there was some confusion because it was announced as Jones. The scoreboard here, Bill Harris put it up as 11. But the bad news is that's his 3rd foul. It was going to be somebody's 3rd foul, and it's on Patterson.
Again, referees doing a nice job and not stalling the game. Make a quick decision, go to the monitor, and then let's play ball. Really, thus far,
under 5 minutes in this championship game. And a nice little roll off the fingers of Gerard Andrews. Remember, we'll have a ticket punched as we had earlier today here for the women's side when Southern made it. The first time since 2010. Combs just pulls up. Nobody really put a hand in his face, and then gently rolled in.
If I'm Texas Southern, I'm getting him a touch every time on offense to close out this first half.
Jump pass there. That's always a little bit risky by Dennis Jones. Found the open man. That's a tough shot. Rebound to Jalen Patterson.
Let's see if Texas Southern gets him. Combs. Number 1, a touch.
To the floor. Breakaway. Look out for Combs. Did not stop the basket, and Gary Blackston, who is so very fast, And Jeremy Combs will be hit with that foul.
Game changed midway through this first half. Prairie View picking it up. They are all in the passing lanes, creating turnovers, getting out in transition, get easy buckets. Another and one situation off of a turnover.
Antoine Lister returns now for Prairie View.
Antoine Lister is back in for Prairie View. Tayshawn Johnson will check out. Here is Blackston again, a senior out of Baltimore. You see his average. It's a hair over 15. And hang on, that shot's not going to count.
Blackston had a nice game last night, 18 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, and 0 turnovers in 26 minutes. That's a pretty good stat line.
Well, he made it, and this time it counted. So that token pressure is broken easily by the Tigers. Prairie View will happily extend the defense as far out as they need to. Shot rejected, or are we going to get a foul? Nope. We're going to get a foul on Andrews and not a rejection. Texas Southern, Prairie View, and the top 2 teams playing for the title.
Working on the sprinkler, man. The dance floor is open late here in Las Vegas.
I didn't say anything. I just made my, my normal jelly face.
I almost fainted, man. I almost fainted.
Let's not talk about rating dogs. Let's talk about the game.
Kick, Nemhard.
Well, we got the SEC championship game for you, and how many of you would have bet before the season it would have been Auburn against Tennessee for the title? And don't lie and say you did, because I know you didn't. It's at 1 o'clock Eastern, and of course, the Air Force Reserve American Conference Championship at 3:15 Eastern, both on ESPN, and of course, streaming live on the app. We already know that Kelvin Sampson's Houston team and Wichita State, who was kind of the stepchild who cuffed around a little bit, has a chance. They're ahead in the second semifinal.
Talk about sending shockwaves and messing up.
Shockwaves?
Seeds.
All right,
yeah,
I got that.
See, there you go. See? Clever. I'm glad you're listening.
For once I am, yes.
Right.
But, no, seriously, that's the team that they get in there and against Houston. Now, Houston will be favored, but still, it's a heck of a performance.
And what a job, though, Kelvin Sampson has done with that Houston program. One of the best in the business. Against him. This is how long he's been around.
Opportunity. Most people to give Prairie View a 4-point lead. If you're just joining us, Texas Southern has built up a double-digit advantage in this game, as high as 13. And another steal by Prairie View, this time by Jones to Blackston. And again, that speed. Man, he gets down the court fast.
That is 19 points off of turnovers for Prairie View. That's the story of the game.
The 2019 Toyota SWAC Tournament. 30 seconds.
Fast and convenient using manufacturer recommendations.
Seriously?
Jiffy Lube, you can do more in a jiffy.
There will be sermons tomorrow in churches that were not as fervent as the one that Byron Smith gave his team just moments ago. And Prairie View is on a roll, as Malcolm mentioned going into the break. 19 points off of a dozen Texas Southern turnovers, and they've hit 5 of their last 7 shots.
Well, the intensity. Texas Southern came out. They were the more aggressive team. They were in the passing lanes. That changed when Prairie View picked up their D. They made a change, and it has been all Prairie View, as you said. The turnovers are really hurting Texas Southern in this game.
Almost had another one there. And that's going to have to be a foul on Blackston. And a little bit shaken up there is Butler.
Officials timeout.
They need to get a trainer out on the floor. He's still down.
The officials have called for a trainer to come out, and she's now making her way over. And I didn't see how Butler was shaken up. He was pretty sure he was the player fouled.
Looks like he's holding his head area now, right here with the ball. Nothing. Guy stepping over.
Well, he
still can't see it from that angle, but he is holding
Well, off to the monitor go the officials, and now we see it looks like, I still possibly Dennis Jones. So what the officials are doing now, trying to see if this is going to be a flagrant foul or if this is just.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to get out of his way. It does not look like he's trying to do anything, Blackston. And then Jones is looking like he's trying to get out of his way. So it's really hard to tell, at least from my eyes and my vantage point, to see where he got hit. Okay, so
you'll see it here as he comes in. Watch 11. He's going to put up his hands like he's trying to avoid a handball in soccer. And he's going to get him on the side of the head right here with his right arm. It looked like, not very hard. Now we're having one of our officials come over and talk to Malcolm about what is going to be called, if they're going to be a common foul or a flagrant foul. Meantime, happily, with the assistance of head coach Johnny Jones, Vakio Butler will be helped off the court for the moment. What's the ruling here?
So it's a common foul. They're going to choose a player to come shoot the free throws for him, but the concern now is, the referee said, he probably is going to be in concussion protocol, and that is automatic. They're going to take a look at him, take him back to the locker room, but certainly he got hit pretty good in the head, and that's a big loss for Texas Southern not having Butler.
For our viewers, whose choice is it? Does Prairie View A&M pick the free throw shooter, or does Texas Southern pick the free throw shooter?
It is Prairie View A&M that gets to pick the free throw shooter, and obviously the main concern now is Butler's health.
Well, you see the trainer with him right now, hearing his complaints. You've got Kanan McClelland at the line. He's 56.5%, and that didn't go, but he gets another one.
Subbing down for Texas Southern, John Jones.
You've got Trayvon Reed has come back into the game as well for Texas Southern as they try to cut this lead to 5, and they do it. John Jones will come back in, and there's way too many Texas Southern players on the court, and finally Justin Hopkins checked out.
Now Texas Southern goes into a 2-3 matchup zone. I like the changeup by Coach Jones. Try to slow this Prairie View team down.
Long 3-ball, missing that time by Chancellor Ellis. Anderson. Guarded by Blackston. Floater. Reed using a long wingspan, but it did not work out. Prairie View clears, and now they hustle into the front court. Athleticism on display from Dennis Jones. A nice touch.
And that's how you want to attack a 7-footer. Get right into his body. That time finishing with the left. That's a tough shot. He made it look easy over the 7-2 center.
They go inside to Combs. He draws contact. To your point earlier, getting Combs engaged in this game, Malcolm, he is 3 for 3 from the line, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, and he has played 16 minutes. It just doesn't seem like it.
No, he really has not had many opportunities, and the ones he's had has been off of offensive rebounds, where he's basically created his own offense. But you're right. I think they need to really focus on trying to get him the ball. On the other end, if you're Prairie View, if Texas Southern goes to the zone, you don't want to settle for the first 3. You want to try to work the ball around, try to get it to that high post area, and then break it down from there.
Blackston is sort of, kickball. 15 on the clock.
Texas Southern continues to stay in that 2-3 matchup zone.
Under 90 seconds left in this opening half. Blackston weaving through the defense, found a spot in the zone, and The rebound unable to be controlled by Andrews. It belonged to Texas Southern, who's now scored a basket in over 3 minutes.
That's not bad offense. Zone offense by Prairie View. You get a high ball screen, you get into the lane. Blackston had a pretty good look. And on the other end, if you're Texas Southern, again, just pound the ball inside. Don't settle for jumpers. Go down low to your bigs.
Well, that's just a gorgeous drive by Jalen Patterson. Under a minute. Wow, quick three and contact. Combs absolutely baffled by the call.
Texas Southern foul, charge number 1.
And Darius Williams will go to the line for 3.
That's just a late closeout, and yeah, that's a foul. Every time you close out and your hands go down, I don't care if you're on the perimeter or underneath the basket, they're going to call that every time.
He looked like he did get a piece of him as well. Not much, but it doesn't take much when you're that far away. It seems like they'll call those light touches on a three-point shooter much more commonly than underneath. And Williams is a very good shooter, very streaky. 77% from the foul line. So our Audi halftime report, we'll have an SEC recap. The Cougars doing well in Memphis, as we mentioned to you earlier. Of course, we'll have our highlights and stats. It'll be Kevin Connors, LaFonso Ellis, and Sean Farnham.
Subbing for Prairie View, number 4, Antoine Lister, in for Blackston.
So out of the game is Blackston. Johnny Jones, a quick word with the official, and I think Jones said, up, a little misunderstanding. I understand. I got you. We're all good.
Well, Williams last night had a career high 7 rebounds, 16 points. Really just had a great all-around game for Prairie View. And he's continued to play well.
That was off the bench. That's his role. Almost like that Vinnie Johnson microwave type. Come in here and start shooting and score for me. Combs, and you mentioned the offensive rebounding game has been strong for him. Reed, and he'll roll it in.
Reed.
It's only a 4-point deficit in the waning moments of this first half.
Well, the zone has been a nice changeup for Texas Southern to slow down Prairie View. Big possession to close out the first half.
The old use it or lose it will be taken by Byron Smith, the SWAC Coach of the Year.
30-second timeout.
And, of course, championship week is continuing tonight. FSU and Duke at 8:30 Eastern. And that'll be followed by the Pac-12 championship, Oregon and Washington at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Of course, if you're out, it is Saturday night after all. Stream the game live on the ESPN app. You can do that or watch it on ESPN. Got any favorites in that one?
One of the most underrated coaches in all of college, Leonard Hamilton.
Oh, I love Leonard.
Defensively sound. Offensively, they're unselfish. They always play hard for him. What he's done at Florida State is beyond remarkable. A school that you would think is obviously known in the past as just a football school. All he's done every year is put up consistent winners with a chance to win the ACC tournament tonight. That is going to be a fun game, and I think they have the athletes to match up against Zion Williamson.
If anybody does, they do, because Leonard seems to get teams that look exactly the same every year. He gets 3 or 4 guys who appear to have arms that can cover the entire city of Tallahassee. They're smart, they're athletic, they're exciting to watch, and that should be a terrific game. And Duke is a completely different team. They're back to being Duke that we saw in the early part of the season.
Well, the losses they had, obviously, you got to have an asterisk next to it.
Final seconds. Combs is going to have to hustle. Good if it goes. Texas Southern had the early going, built a 13-point lead, but Prairie View has come all the way back and then some to take that 45-41 advantage as they go to their locker rooms. It's time for the Audi halftime report. After these messages, we will join Kevin, LaFonso, and Sean in studio to get you caught up on Championship Week. Presented by Principal. The championship we're deciding in this half is the SWAC and Prairie View A&M, the number 1 seed, number 2 seed, Texas Southern. Right now, it's the Panthers on top by 4. Welcome you back with Malcolm Huckabee. Dave Lamont going to throw 2 numbers at you, 13 and 19. 13 was the largest lead Texas Southern had, but it's the 19 that really matters in this first half.
19 points off of turnovers. That's what Prairie View had in the first half. That's the story of this game thus far. Texas Southern's turnovers. That has been the best offense for Prairie View. You had 7 different players get into the action, 5 of them with 7 or more points for Prairie View. Turnover, they executed to perfection in transition, and they got high percentage looks right here. Great team defense, stepped into the passing lane, and then again, a nice unselfish play which led to an uncontested layup. A big reason why they shot 53% in that first half is because they got high percentage looks in transition off the turnovers.
Jeremy Combs, the SWAC player of the year today, 8 points. He does have 5 rebounds, but and 2 fouls. But at times it seemed a little bit disconnected from the game. He's going to have to be fully connected if Texas Southern is going to come from behind and claim that spot.
If you're Texas Southern, first and foremost, no turnovers, and then you gotta have to get him involved in your offense. The SWAC player of the year.
And Patterson had his shot blocked by Eden Ewing, and it will be. Patterson thought he got hit in the face. The official doesn't agree. 12 seconds to shoot.
And if you're Prairie, you'll keep doing what you've been doing. Solid defense, and then get out in transition and execute in your transition offense.
That's Blackston. That's a tough shot with the defender right on him. And Gary Blackston hits.
That's 12 for the game. He led all the Prairie View players in that first half with 10 points. That's a tough pull-up jumper. Not bad D, but that's a high arcing shot.
Jalen Patterson. That's Devakio Butler, who is back after having a bit of a concussion scare in the first half. Happy to see that. Blackston's feeling it. Too strong, tapped around, and an excuse me bucket by Gerard Andrews.
Remember how this game started. It was all Texas Southern on the offensive glass and those 50-50 balls. That has changed. Prairie View has dominated that category.
And you remember, we just saw number 20, Tyreek Armstrong, handling the ball. Remember how he got out so quickly in the first 5-6 minutes? He's hardly done anything since then. Offensively, long shot, missing everything, and a rebound to Blackston. 9 offensive rebounds for Prairie View in this game, and they have benefited second chance points now, 11. Oh, a little flipper by Dennis Jones off the glass, and a 6-0 start for Prairie View A&M.
Texas Southern continues to have offensive possessions where Combs does not touch the ball.
Whistle here, and the reaction of the Prairie View players will tell you it's a foul on them.
Prairie View foul charge number 13,
Iwan Ellis hit with his 3rd.
If I'm Coach Jones right now, I'm telling my guys, nobody shoot until we get a paint touch for the SWAC player of the year, Jeremy Combs.
We got to get the ball first, which Armstrong has. Now they left him open. No. It's going to be waved off. We're going to get an away from the shot foul against Texas Southern as Dennis Jones got run over.
Take a look at the screen right here. Yeah, he tried to make it look like he was going away. I think the arm motion, when he got his arms up, that's what got the refs to make that call. And Jones sold it pretty well as well, too.
He did.
I'm not sure if there was that much contact where he needed to make that type of fall, but nonetheless, referees going the other way.
Eden Ewing hit with his 2nd foul. So Texas Southern still has not scored in this half. Blackston just invented a shot on the spot, and the rebound goes to Ewing.
Let's see if Texas Southern goes down low in the post.
That was a good pass by Armstrong, skipping it across, did not get it. I tell you what, I think Combs got away with a foul on the offensive end. He looked to me like he held Andrews as Andrews was going for that rebound, and instead there's going to be a foul on Prairie View.
Well, if you're Texas Southern, you're down 10. You're really not even not 5 minutes into this second half, and every shot you have taken has been a contested jumper.
And they have not scored in the opening 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Possibly some confusion about who the foul was called on. This has happened one at a time.
I think they're trying to reset the shot clock. I think there might be some more ticks, or the game clock. All right, so right here, 17. Yeah, I think the game clock, the shot clock reset.
It should be 20 now. I think they got it right.
Resetting of the shot clock to 28.
Up 28. Butler. A lot of movement. Missed it, and it's going to end up in the hands of Jalen Patterson, who puts in the layup for the first points for Texas Southern in this half.
You can tell they got the memo from their coach. Stop settling for jumpers. That's much better. Dribble drive to the basket.
Just lost it. I don't know whether Jones was looking for contact or he just... I'm not sure what happened there, but he just flat lost the ball on his way to what looked like a layup.
Yeah, that's a break for Texas Southern.
And there's an invented shot by Jalen Patterson. And all of a sudden, Texas Southern comes ripping back to trail by just 6.
And those are 2 nice possessions by Texas Southern. Not settling for jumpers again, and dribble drive, get some shots in the paint.
Claxton. Tough. The Tony Parker floater. He got it to go.
They have not had an answer for him. He continues to get into the lane. We spoke with Coach Johnny Jones of Texas Southern. He said that was going to be an issue for us, defending the paint.
That's 6 in a row for Patterson. He had an easy shot, and then he just had a difficult shot. Jones again, going into the big bodies. Can't get the break, and Ewing with a rebound. Right now, both teams being very aggressive on the offensive end. Patterson, beautiful feed to Ewing. And an and-one opportunity for Ewing.
That is all set up by a beautiful play by Jalen Patterson. He said it, he's had it going the last 6 buckets for him. Don't force a shot, little behind the back. That's a beautiful pass. And finish that time. Great concentration and body control by Ewing.
Iwan Ellis hit with that foul. And that's number 4 on the senior from Fort Worth. So Ewing checks his form of the foul line, where he's struggled a little bit this year.
Spent last season at Purdue. Really limited action, only played 27 minutes.
And we're back to where we were at halftime with a 4-point advantage. There's a pull-up from the foul line. Didn't go. Ewing way into the air to get the rebound. Had it stripped. 2 Prairie View players to the deck. Texas Southern's got numbers. And they get the tap in, and I think that was Jeremy Combs. And now the run is going the other way. It started with Prairie View building a 10-point lead. Now that's only 2. The argument here, slow it down a little bit. Patterson against Ewing, went to the left hand, drew contact, and a foul. Texas Southern, Malcolm, on a 6-0 run and made 5 of the last 6 shots. Player of the year, the SWAC, Jeremy Combs. He boxed him out.
What a move by Jason Tatum. The Celtics have dominated the Sixers this season. Can Philly make a statement during their playoff push? Celtics Sixers, Wednesday on ESPN, presented by State Farm.
Exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Well, congratulations to the Southern women's basketball team for their victory as they joined this group. Tickets punched to the women's NCAA tournament. Very good game against Jackson State. Congratulations to Carlos Funches, the head coach, and his women as they go on to the next level, the NCAA tournament. First time since 2010 for Southern. Here, we're looking at a couple of teams. Top two in the SWAC. Texas Southern, you're used to seeing them in this game if you follow this conference. Texas Southern won this tournament, in the regular season, I should say, 3 years straight between 2014 and 2017. And last year went to the tournament and won a game in the play-in. But it's been a while for Prairie View A&M. 1998 under Elwood Plummer was their last trip to the NCAA tournament. And you take a look, Texas Southern, Mike Davis really had something going there before he left to go to the University of Detroit.
Yeah, it really has been dominated by Texas Southern in these last 10 years.
Armstrong thought about it. Instead, takes the open lane and ties the game. The cliche of basketball being a game of runs, this game is showing you exactly why we say that.
It is to perfection in the dictionary of a game of runs. And as we take a look at more excellent offense, both teams really executing in this last 5-minute stretch.
Antoine Lister, that's going to be an offensive foul as Antoine Lister made the three, and then Devontae Patterson drew the charge. And Jalen Patterson, this is Patterson on Patterson violence on the charge.
Yeah, unselfish basketball right there. Late closeout. That's a nice looking offensive possession for Prairie View right there off the dribble drive.
Well, Lister can flat shoot it from three, 40%. He's very dangerous. That was his first bucket of the night. Well, up. Rebound fought for, one, and a foul. The extra effort made by Gerard Andrews going to get him to go to the line. And on cue, here comes a 7'2" guy to prevent that kind of offensive rebound perhaps from happening again.
That's great work by Andrews on the offensive glass last night. In that semifinal win, he had 6 boards, 3 of them offensive. He does a really nice job attacking the offensive glass.
When you give up an offensive rebound, although honestly, Texas Southern is dominating the backboard. As of the last time out, they had a 12-plus rebound advantage. But second chance points going to be 19-12. And the rebound goes to Trayvon Reed. They've tried an alley-oop, and it was much more oops than oop. Left open. In rhythm. Lister, you cannot leave him open, and he's hit 2 in a row. That's going to count. That's a block. And I believe that will be on Patterson, who tried to get that charge, but Butler went around him beautifully.
And that's exactly right, Dave. He went around him that time, avoiding the charge. Saw the guy set up. That's a tough shot going back to his left to avoid getting a charge and one situation.
Well, Prairie View, Malcolm, now has 2 players with 4 fouls. Patterson and Ellis. And that's Iwan Ellis, not Chancellor Ellis. Combs and Ewing have 3 each for Texas Southern. And Devontae Patterson, number 5, is out there with those 4 fouls right now. Not for much longer, I suspect. And let's see what Darius Williams will come in for Patterson. Well, we tell you about what we got coming up tomorrow. Auburn v. Tennessee at 1 o'clock Eastern for the SEC Championship. To be followed by Houston versus somebody in the Air Force Reserve American Championship. And now Cincinnati has gone ahead. So it could be Houston and Cincinnati, the Bearcats with a 7-point advantage. That'll be on ESPN or, of course, on our app. Combs, the nice rebound in traffic. Again, the handles on Armstrong. Super impressive. He's in some trouble there, but skips the pass calmly over to Jalen Patterson. Reed was fronted, Almost a clever play. They go to Combs, and he rushed that shot a little bit. Reed trying to get a piece of that. It will belong to Texas Southern.
The post-entry passes right now has been an issue for Texas Southern. What they need to do is get somebody on the wing and then try to enter it down low to the bigs, either Reed or Combs. But you certainly want to take advantage of your clear size advantage if you're Texas Southern.
So Blackston and Iwan Ellis come back into the game. And again, Ellis has 4 fouls for the Panthers. He's number 13, and he's drawn the short straw, or I should say the tall straw. As Armstrong, again, finds a gap in the defense. The ball got away, and we're going to hold things up just for a second. That's a difficult effort by Gary Blackston. He kisses it off the window.
That's twice tonight. We've seen him go right at the 7-footer Reed and not backing away, getting right into his body, and that's another difficult shot.
Jalen Patterson from 3. He leads his team in assists per game, but he's been an off this one. It's a 2-point game. He's got 15.
That was a deep 3 as well, too.
Not getting that rebound. Long pass. We are tied, and a chance for Butler to break the tie. Last lead for Texas Southern. You got to go back to 6:44 in the first half.
It's been back and forth. Both teams on runs. Right here, though, nice outlet pass, and then Butler with the finish. We're tied up.
Yeah, I'm a threat, 3. Yeah, I'm a threat, 3. You know I'm a threat, 3. Yeah, I'm a threat, 3.
Conference, Jeremy Combs of Texas Southern, whom you're watching today, is the player of the year. And the coach of the year you're watching is Prairie View A&M. Panthers compete for the championship. The freshman of the year from Jackson State, Javius McInnes. With Malcolm Huckabee and our ESPN crew here in Birmingham, Alabama, I'm Dave Lamont. We're at Bill Harris Arena just outside of downtown, part of championship week, and there is the SWAC player of the year, Jeremy Combs. And you see what he's done today, starting to build up that stat sheet a little bit, particularly on the rebounding edge, where Texas Southern has 34 rebounds, 16 in the offensive end, as opposed to 21 total rebounds for Prairie View. And the chance to put them in the lead is Devakio Butler. And it's been a long time for Texas Southern to be in the lead, and they're back in now by 1. Pull up, lefty J, and they're back down by 1. Here's Tayshawn Johnson.
That's a tough pull-up jumper right there.
Jalen Patterson drawing a lot of attention. 3 ball. Yes, corner 3 for Butler.
And that's a breakdown by Prairie View. Butler is Texas Southern's best 3-point shooter, over 40% for the year. You have to close out, identify who the shooters are. That's beautiful execution by Texas Southern.
Texas Southern is the only team to hand that conference loss you see there on your screen to Prairie View. That's 17-1. That was nearly a carry. Step back 3 ball. Tayshawn Johnson. And back and forth we go.
That's 2 tough shots by Johnson. First one pull up, that one a pull up 3.
And Combs attracts the crowd and is fouled.
And sometimes that happens in a game, Dave, where you're playing pretty good team. A guy gets it going. Right here, take a look. Nice dump off pass. A lot of contact. A good call by the refs.
Foul on Andrews is his 3rd. There's a little bit of a hole in Combs' game. It's at the foul line. He's 2 out of 4 today. Grad transfer from LSU. He averaged 20 and 10 in conference play.
And that's certainly an area he needs to improve. He shot over 259 free throws. That's a lot of free throws. He gets to the line a lot, but as you said, below 60% coming into this game.
And he's right on 60% for today. Johnson. Well, he's going to be hit with the offensive foul for making contact, leading with his arm, says the official.
And Combs definitely sold this one right here.
Yes, he did.
Now, there definitely was contact. Let's see. And then he threw the hands up. Yeah, that's definitely a good sell job right there.
Hands up, hair flying.
That definitely looked a lot worse. Yeah, that certainly looked a lot worse than it should have been. But a good job that time by Combs selling that to the refs.
Well, they were fighting for a loose ball, and there's going to be a foul called against Prairie View. It's going to be another one on Andrews, and that's going to be his fourth. We are in the 1-and-1 with Combs. So that's 3 Panthers with 4 fouls. That's Devontae Patterson, Iwan Ellis, and now Gerard Andrews. The free throw is good. And Jalen Patterson has put the Tigers back in the lead.
Patterson transferred from LSU when Johnny Jones got the job, and doing some nice things here at Texas Southern. 4th in the SWAC, close to 4 assists per game.
Bounce pass. Completely faked the defender out, and an open J for Chancellor Ellis, the former New Mexico State player, has tied things up.
It's a nice use of the head fake that time. Nice little shot fake right into one dribble pull-up.
Floater. And it's going to be a block. Foul, I believe, will be on Chancellor Ellis. It is on him. That'll be his first. Let's see how they got this one.
Right here. Okay, let's see if he was on that line.
Ooh. Well, let's see.
Yeah, I think
he gave it up, though.
Yeah, and if he would have just held his ground, he's falling back. If he would have just held his ground right there, stood straight up, and then waited for the contact to come to him, that's certainly a charge. He was in position. Just moving before the contact got to him.
Yeah, you've got to take the offensive rebound there by Combs as he approaches a double-double. That's a tough shot. And a big rebound by Andrews. That's way short. Combs ahead of the defense. And he is just, that might be more than just a regular foul.
And the problem with it is it's not a basketball play.
And there's no play made on the ball.
No.
And that's what's going to hurt.
It's a dangerous play. Again, in that time, you want to swipe down, go for a guy's arms. But when you hold on to a guy's shoulders, first of all, it's dangerous. And then it just makes it easy for the refs to call a flagrant foul. Again, there's no...
He did make a play on the ball. Okay, that's a good angle from our group that he did make a play on the ball.
So from our angle, it looked like he didn't. But right here, again, he's definitely making a play. I think what makes it bad is he got the shoulder first. So he grabbed on the shoulder first right there and then comes down. I think that's one where the refs are going to take a long, hard look at it.
They've already looked and they're discussing now, as you see the alternate ref. Now you see the flagrant one, so you could argue from behind. You could argue possibly excessive, but it was a legitimate play on the ball. I would be... can't imagine this being a flagrant 2. In fact, they've already made that decision. They're putting up one finger in the air, so it looks like they're going to give him a flagrant 1. Yeah, they're going to give him a flagrant 1.
And I think the issue is, again, going back to just grabbing down on a guy's shoulder. Even though the second motion was down to swipe at the ball, I think the grabbing of the shoulder, that's a dangerous play as a guy's going to gather himself and go up for a uncontested dunk or layup.
So Combs will get a couple. He expands the lead. Myron Smith didn't argue that very much. He made a chopping motion like, well, he went for the ball, but I think, Malcolm, you probably summed it up as an official would sum it up on that one.
This could be a potential huge swing for Texas Southern.
Yeah, there's the shoulder grab. I see your point. He grabs. If he had just swiped at the ball, it's probably okay.
Yeah, if you get armed, that's fine. When you grab a guy down like that, again, that's a very dangerous play. Russell right on top of it.
Trying to go to the big guy underneath with an alley-oop on the out of bounds. That's not going to work. Good job by Prairie View defensively, and so Texas Southern will hit the reset. Armstrong. It's Patterson. Evans in the basket, pretty close. No, I think this is going to be an offensive foul on Trayvon Reed.
We've seen that a couple times in this game. A guy has set a screen and then he'll walk the defender down the right lane. Okay, right here. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Now, that looked like he was just trying to go back down.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I saw the contact and I knew who the foul was on, but I don't know. 17 turnovers to 10, but right now Texas Southern has the advantage where it matters most, up by 3. Winner goes to the NCAA tournament. And speaking with Commissioner McClellan, who's got an in on the selection committee, he thinks if Texas Southern wins this game, they may not be forced to play in, and might even get a 15 because they've had some nice wins. If the Panthers make it, they will likely be forced to play in.
Nice job on the defensive glass that time by Butler.
That's a tough shot. Went to the left hand, no good. And the Panthers have a 5-on-4 at the moment. Andrews with the left hand, got by Reed. It's a 1-point game.
We haven't talked much about it, Dave, but both these teams played yesterday. And fatigue as we get deeper into this second half. On that last possession, transition defense, a lot of tired legs look like on both teams, but in particular Texas Southern getting back in transition.
Nope. I think Reed's going to get hit again. And Johnny Jones has his arms spread like, what are you talking about? The referee says that's a push. And Texas Southern and Prairie View, it just seems like we are destined to take this down to the last seconds to decide the champion of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Don't miss it. Close all day, but Malcolm, I guess the difference here has been the rebounding and the second chance points.
And Texas Southern has dominated that area. 21 second chance points for Texas Southern. They've done a nice job on the offensive glass. Everybody getting in on the action, using their length and size. This time right here, the SWAC player of the year, Combs getting in the action, and then the big fella Reed finishing off the play. But for Texas Southern, the Achilles heel has been the turnovers.
18 of them. Now, let me correct one thing. I said it's been close all day. That's not actually true. We're this at the beginning. Texas Southern jumped on Prairie View with both shoes and built a 13-point lead. However, Prairie View came ripping back and led by 4 at the half as Patterson playing with 4 fouls. We've got 3 Panthers with 4 fouls. And you've got 3 Tigers with 3 fouls. Trying to go to Reed. Or maybe they weren't. He thought it was going to be for him. Armstrong. Jumping bounce pass to Butler. Steal. That's turnover number 19. Oh, that's just pretty. Absolutely gorgeous by Darius Williams, and the Panthers go back out in front.
Great body control again. Eyes on the rim the whole time. Avoid the contact, up, under, kiss it off the glass.
For 3. 2-point lead as Butler, a 40% three-point shooter, drills it.
Well, Prairie View continues to leave him alone on the three-point line. Again, dribble drive. You got to stay home if you're Prairie View on Butler. He has consistently knocked down threes in this game.
He has 18 points. Trying to counter. They do. 3-ball put in there by Chancellor Ellis. What a terrific game this has turned into between the top 2 teams in the SWAC. Great feed. Absolutely beautiful feed from Armstrong to Reed, who flushes that one home.
Yeah, unselfish play by Armstrong, who started off the game on an offensive flurry. That time showing off the point guard skills. Break down to D. Nice little dump-off pass to the big fella.
He has 5 assists and only 1 turnover. So you're looking for the ball handling woes for Texas Southern. It's not him. And Combs is confused by that call, and he will be the first in the 4-foul club for Texas Southern. You're under 5 minutes here, Malcolm. Does he get a hook, or do you leave him out there?
I think you got to leave him in this situation right here. 4:57. Again, that's just fatigue right there, not being able to slide his feet. Now, again, he's matched up against a guard, but certainly fatigue, I believe, in that defensive set right there came in as a factor.
And Blackston, that free throw just looked awkward coming off his hand. So Combs going to come out. Eden Ewing will come in to replace him. We'll see how long. 4:57 for the SWAC Player of the Year. Johnny Jones didn't just wake up and start coaching today, so he knows what he's doing. See how that pays off. And we are tied with just under 5 minutes to go. Blackston with 17. Count it! Going to the line for the 3-point opportunity is Jalen Patterson.
Well, the backcourt combo of Patterson and Tyreek Armstrong has been impressive in this game. Right here, a little crossover, take the hit, little floater in the lane. That's a big-time shot.
It's like it'd be Darius Williams hitting that foul. That's just his second.
Patterson, LSU transfer, averaged close to 6 points while he was there.
He's got 21 this evening, playing for the berth in the NCAA tournament. Both these teams, 21 and 12. They've been the top 2 teams in the SWAC all season. Contested 3-ball. Long shot, long rebound. It's Armstrong. He'll run into the defense, and the defense will run into him. That foul will be on Dennis Jones.
Prairie View foul charge at number 11, Dennis Jones. That's his 3rd personal.
That's 3 on him.
Sending to the line for Texas Southern.
Byron Smith trying to figure out what's the combination that's going to get me into the NCAA tournament.
Shooting 2.
That's huge, that Texas Southern and the bonus situation right there. If you're Prairie View, you got to understand time in that situation. Just get back, play solid transition D. No need to go for a steal and put Texas Southern on the free throw line.
Armstrong, he's a pretty good free throw shooter. Missed them both. And the rebound knocked away by Dennis Jones out of the hands of Butler. My goodness. Dennis Jones just took over. And are they going to check if that's a 2 or a 3?
This was timeout on the court.
Not sure what they're discussing right here.
Timeout on the court. Prairie View.
There has been a timeout called. We are knotted up at 80 with 4:06.
Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Of college basketball is brought to you by Principal Investments, Retirement Insurance.
And the energy of Myron Smith leading his Prairie View A&M Panthers 80-80 with 4:07 to go. His opposite number right there, Johnny Jones, has been to the tournament 3 times in his career with North Texas, with LSU, and now perhaps with Texas Southern. The steal by Jones after he had been decked. Williams into the front court, stolen from behind by Armstrong. Armstrong, an alley, but it's an oops instead. Over the head of his intended receiver and stolen by Blackston.
Still for Texas Southern, Jeremy Combs, the SWAC player of the year, is still on the bench.
4:57 was when he was taken out with his 4th foul. We do have an automatic timeout coming on the next whistle. 3, Patterson, in, out, out. Rebound, Reed. No one's going to get it where he had it.
That's a nice rebound right there. If you're Prairie View, though, you can't ask for a better look. Wide open quarter 3.
So how about a contested 3? That's an air ball. We got a big foul coming up underneath. That's going to be against Darius Williams for grabbing underneath. It's a 2-shot foul. Texas Southern will be at the line to take the lead when we return.
Yeah, I'm a threat, 3. Yeah, I'm a threat, 3. You know I'm a threat, 3.
Well, the officials took a look at the monitor to see if a hook and hold is going to be called. We have not heard an announcement. No one has come over to tell us whether or not we're going to have that. But how about this, Malcolm? The entire SWAC season. You're talking about going back to November, really practices in October, and here we are with the 2 best teams all season long. We've got 3 minutes and 4 seconds, and we're tied.
You couldn't ask for a better ending to this game and also to the season for the SWAC. Tale of 2 different teams. For Texas Southern, they dominated for the second chance points. They've done a nice job on the offensive glass. On the other side, Prairie View has done a nice job feasting off the turnovers by Texas Southern. I think this last 3:04 is going to come down to simple. Offensive execution and then defensive rebounding. Whoever shores up those 2 things, I think, is going to have a pretty good chance of winning.
Jeremy Combs remains on the bench with 4 fouls for Texas Southern. At the line, Eden Ewing to try to put his team ahead. We have had 14 lead changes and 10 ties. What you want with your 2 best teams. There's Combs. When will he return? Texas Southern, we have another lead change. Make it 15. And Combs is off the bench. He'll be back in next whistle. Patterson thought about it. Going to go right after it. He got hammered. So Devontae Patterson, who yesterday made all 12 of his free throws, will go back to the line to try to put Prairie View in front.
And I like the play by Patterson, not settling for a jumper. He had a jumper right there, decided to drive the ball to the basket, forced the issue, and now finds himself at the free throw line. That's a heads-up play.
How do you go from 12 to 12 to 1 for 4, 2 for 5 now? Is Patterson more tied? Here comes Combs. And very quickly, Prairie View will bring in Iwan Ellis, who is burdened with 4 fouls. The guy at the line, Patterson, has 4 fouls. And Gerard Andrews, who is on the bench right now for Prairie View, has 4 fouls. For the lead. Too strong. And Combs now has a double-double. Lost ball off the knee. It will belong to Prairie View A&M.
And back to my earlier point about offensive execution. What I mean by that is Texas Southern, they need to execute, get high percentage shots, but I think the biggest thing is don't turn the ball over.
Like they just did. That's 22 turnovers.
You can live with missed shots. You can live with guys shooting contested shots, but turnovers, really, they just kill momentum.
That's tough. That is a spectacular shot by Dennis Jones, and Prairie View with 2:05 and counting in the lead. That's going to be a foul on Jeremy Combs on the screen. And that's going to be 5. the SWAC Player of the Year has just fouled out on an offensive foul, the 23rd Texas Southern turnover in this SWAC championship game. Let's take a look at it.
Right here, high ball screen. Oh, I don't know. Well, I'm not sure if they did it because of the arms. I think it's more the arms as opposed to him moving in that situation. It looked like he grabbed the arm, and again, another good sell job by a player.
Yeah.
The ref went for it.
But what did they tell you? What did your parents tell you when you went to school? Keep your hands to yourself. If he just keeps his hands to himself, he doesn't give the official a reason to even think about blowing the whistle. So now Texas Southern has lost their top player for the remainder of this game. In a game that's, and an interception, a terrible pass. Patterson will have it. On the drive, left-handed, and we're tied again.
Wow. Now, we've seen how with left hand, Jalen Patterson.
Been tied, I think, 12 times. Lead change 15, 16 times. I'm spitballing, but I'm pretty close. That hit the side of the backboard, but Prairie View will go to the line. We have 72 seconds left in the regular season of the SWAC, or do we?
A turnover this time by Prairie View, and then Jalen Patterson in traffic, going to his left with the left. Again, just beautiful body control. His eyes were on the rim the whole time. That is a difficult shot.
Darius Williams is taking a moment to gather himself. We will take a moment to remind you that this is number 1 Prairie View, number 2 Texas Southern, the top teams in the SWAC all season. They are down to the last 72 seconds of regulation, tied for a berth in the NCAA tournament. Byron Smith has his Panthers trying to do something Prairie View hasn't done since 1998, and that's make the NCAA. Take the lead again on a Williams free throw. Texas Southern, a postseason regular, won a game in the tournament last year. Johnny Jones in his first season after leaving LSU. And he hits 2.
Timeout on the floor, Prairie View.
Prairie View takes a timeout. They have 1 remaining. Texas Southern has 3.
30 seconds.
I think this is going to be a 30-second timeout. So who is already in the tournament? We got a lot to decide yet, but you see NC Central has made it in from the MEAC. Vermont, that's a good team. They are always good, Vermont. St. Mary's knocking a few people out by getting in, I would think. I was impressed, Malcolm, I don't know if you had a chance to watch Wofford finish off that game the other night against Greensboro, who was really pesky. In the last 5 minutes, Wofford just shut them down.
Very good team, and I called the Murray State game. Murray State Belmont.
Yeah.
Ja Morant put on a show. We had Magic Johnson courtside checking him out. I believe, though, Belmont, we talked with the commissioner of the SWAC.
Right.
I believe Belmont should be an at-large. They should get an at-large bid.
I do, too. I just wonder if they will. And I think, who really hurt them a little bit yesterday was Florida, getting that win over LSU. I think the Gators are in. It's going to be tough to say to put Belmont in the NIT, but it may happen. Hate to see it. Minute to go.
1 minute remaining.
Armstrong. Now Patterson around the big screen. 10 to shoot. Gets another screen. Flings it for 3. No good. Tapped up once, twice, and in by Reed. We're tied again.
That's a big-time offensive rebound putback by the 7'2" center, Reed.
Last timeout used here by Prairie View A&M.
Sometimes you just got to will yourself to a bucket right here. Shot clock winding down. Use your length. 7'2" Reed on the offensive glass. That's a great job on the offensive glass. That's a nice touch. Second effort. That has been the story for Texas Southern. Second chance points.
We've already had Jeremy Combs, the SWAC Player of the Year for Texas Southern, has fouled out of this game. And coming up, the Big Sky Championship. Either Eastern Washington or Montana will make it to the NCAA tournament. That game will tip off in 4 minutes. We may still be playing.
Well, let's talk a little strategy here. Offensively, if you're Prairie View, it really has been your guards. Those guys have been your go-to. You look at what they've been able to do in this game. Patterson, Blackson, those guys have been the guys to get to the basket and make some big buckets. I think you're going to have to put the ball in Gary Blackson's hand. Let him go to work. Right here you see transition offense, but he has made some tough shots all night. Not bad D by Texas Southern. Blackson again. Degree of difficulty off the charts. Great body control on this one right here, but you got to imagine he is going to have the ball in his hands to close this game out for Prairie View.
See his numbers on the day, 17 points, and Blackston will not inbound the ball. It'll be Dennis Jones, who is the other principal ball handler for the Panthers. He and Blackston pretty much run the offense. Let's see what they want to do. They do look like they want to get it to Blackston, and they don't. They give it to Patterson instead. Patterson driving, contact, block. 2 shots coming up.
Texas Southern foul charge.
I'm not sure if that's the look that they wanted right there, but Patterson coming off a monster game last night. So he's right there. Oh.
Now, who gets hit with the foul? Yeah. I think it's going to be on Ewing, number 2 here. He was moving a little bit.
Yeah, now Ewing definitely was moving.
Yeah. All right, so Patterson, he was perfect from the line yesterday, but today, you see he's 2 out of 6. 3 out of 7. Again, yesterday he was 12 for 12.
That's the old reverse jinx right there. Struggling a little bit today from the free throw line. That's a big free throw. 33.1 seconds left.
Yeah, Texas Southern has a boatload of timeouts available, and Johnny Jones will use one up right now. Prairie View A&M does not have any left, and he wants the full length timeout. So there's Jalen Patterson, the senior. Was at LSU, leads the team in assists, but is also putting the ball in the bottom of the basket today.
Yeah, he's had a really nice game. Active on defense, and then right here, knocking down a 3. Not known as a three-point shooter, 31% on the season. For me, this is where he has been impressive. In transition, his ability to get into the lane and then make some difficult shots. He's done it time and time again tonight in this game.
Well, this is something I haven't seen yet. Now the cheerleaders are facing off. The bands, we've always had a battle of the bands when you get these teams together. And now we're going to have a dance-off in the middle of the court just to add to the fun.
It doesn't get any better. I'm not sure I've seen a dance-off between opposing teams' cheerleaders.
I haven't either. And, of course, the 2 bands, now they're usually respectable each other's space. Every once in a while, they'll get it both going at once. See Prairie View sitting this one out for the moment, but they'll be back. All right, now let's get back to Devontae Patterson and the foul line and to make it a 2-point game. See the dramatic difference in his free throw shooting, but that's all forgotten if he can put this one down. Man, it looked good all the way. Prairie View up by 2.
It's your Texas Southern. You got to get into your offense quick.
Timeout. 1 timeout remaining. Or you get a timeout quick. Either way, do it quickly. So, by the way, if you're waiting, if you are an Eastern Washington or Montana fan, we thank you for your patience. If you want to watch the game from the beginning, you can do so on ESPN News. We think it wouldn't hurt you to stick around for this one because it's been absolutely exciting from about the middle of the first half on when things have gotten close. And a berth in the NCAA tournament on the line for Byron Smith or for Johnny Jones. So what is your strategy if you're Johnny Jones here and you have the ball?
Well, you're going to go back to your guards. That's been the strength for you, your backcourt. We've already talked about this. Jalen Patterson, you look at what he's been able to do in this game. Armstrong also is another ball handler that's had a nice game. He started this game off being able to get into the paint. You want to dribble drive with your guards, whether it's a high ball screen, and then go from there. If penetrate, kick out for a 3, that's fine. Otherwise, you want to get to the hole Put it in the hands of the referees because you're in a bonus situation right now, but don't settle for a contested 3.
And on their feet here at Bill Harris. They throw it high. Was it touched by Reed? It was. They went underneath to the big guy to use that 7'2" body. The pass could have been better. 25.9 to go. Remember, Prairie View does not have a timeout. And Johnny Jones has already indicated to his players, he tapped his wrist to tell him, hey, would you please foul somebody? So I guess when you try to steal, you don't get that, you foul?
Yeah, and that's a tough inbounds play right there. You're trying to inbound the ball, a post pass on the opposite side of the court. That's really not a good pass coming out of a timeout. To have a turnover, that's disappointing if you're Texas Southern.
Now, who do you want to handle the ball here for Prairie View? Blackston or Jones, I assume?
I would assume you're going to have your guards in there.
And that's Tayshawn Johnson. He draws the intentional foul.
Texas Southern foul.
For the foul.
Johnson, a pretty good free throw shooter, 77% coming into this game.
And he is 0 for 1 from the line today. Byron Smith, you know, all the coaching, all the motivating, all the everything, and there's nothing he can do. He has to just watch this and hope. And he gets the first. Here's the big one.
So this is where all that preseason training, the off-season workouts, you train for these moments with an opportunity to punch a ticket into the NCAA tournament.
Well, how about the free throw shooting here? Prairie View's last 4 points have come from the line, and they've all been perfect. Now, you go quick 2 here.
Absolutely. 24 seconds. You don't necessarily need a 3 in this situation.
They do try for the 2, and they're going to get a foul, which the one thing you don't do if you're Prairie View A&M. And again, they tried to go to Trayvon Reed, but before they did that, we're going to the line. I believe it'll be Patterson.
Yeah, that's a heads-up play by Texas Southern. Again, Patterson not settling for a 3. I think he was trying to alley-oop lob that time to Reed. But again, that's heads-up basketball. You don't need a 3 in this situation. If it's off penetrate kick, that's fine.
You see Patterson's an excellent free throw shooter, and he makes it 6 for 8 on the night. Boy, that's got to kill you if you're Prairie View. You're giving them free points.
And now make or miss if you're Texas Southern. You want to have your D set. You want to go for a steal.
Oh, and he couldn't get it. Blackston gets the rebound, gets rid of it. Look out here. Don't hang a pass. And that's going to be a blocking foul on Tariq Armstrong as he collides with Dennis Jones. And Dennis Jones has 2 for 2 for the night, but percentage-wise, this is not the strength of his game. 12.9 to go. 51% on the season. They'll take 51% right now. They'll take 1 for 2. That's way off. He just needs to relax a little bit.
This is the big one right here.
Well, he's going to get to think about it. Crafty Johnny Jones has decided, I like what I saw there. I'm going to make him think about this next shot a little bit more.
Yeah, similar to icing the kicker in football.
Well, I think this guy was already a little chilly to begin with. So here's the SWAC standings, and you see Prairie View will go to the NIT if they don't win. As the SWAC regular season champion, they've clinched a postseason berth. But nevertheless, it's no knock on the NIT, but we know that they would like to get to that NCAA for the first time in 21 years. And if you're Dennis Jones, you got to at least hit the rim to start the clock. I mean, you got to make some contact here. Now, with 12.9 to go, if he doesn't make this, now do you have to go for the 3? Or do you think you have time to try this again?
You still have time for the 3. I think the question now becomes, too, if he misses Prairie View, do you foul up 3?
Right.
I think you got to foul in that situation.
Oh, look at this. He drains it. Now, nobody has a timeout. Oh, and they threw it away! Patterson wasn't looking. Ewing threw it at him, and Patterson let it go to the Prairie View bench. Unbelievable. Again, the same principle here. They lost 1.2 seconds on that turnover. It's just going to be, if you can't get the steal, hack them. can't get the steal. They can't get the foul. And they finally do, man. Too much time went off the clock there. Let's take a look at this again about this miscommunication.
Well, I think he was trying to throw the ball up the court and have some ticks come off, but a really lack of communication right there. And good job by Prairie View staying up. So many times you see teams allow teams to advance the ball up the court, just rolling it up without any time coming off. Prairie View picked up full.
And how about the performance at the line by Dennis Jones? A moment ago, he airballed a free throw. He has now made 2 in a row, and it looks more and more like Byron Smith may actually be able to smile. 6-point game with 8.9 to go. Patterson, he's just going to have to chuck it. It's not going to go. It's an air ball. And that will likely do it. The celebration has begun already on the Prairie View bench as they mob their coach, Byron Smith.
What a turnaround it was for Prairie View. Defensively, they were just all over Texas Southern, forcing turnovers. And they have punched a ticket into the NCAA tournament.
The #1 team in the SWAC in the regular season is the #1 team in the SWAC tournament. What a dramatic game this was. Congratulations to both teams for a really entertaining championship game, the way you want it to be. But it's Prairie View A&M on top when it's all said and done. What a scene. Prairie View wins it. Coming up next, championship week continues with the Big Sky. Eastern Washington takes on Montana. For Malcolm Huckabee, I'm Dave Lamont. Congratulations to Prairie View, your SWAC champion.